Hey guys, Lucas here from All Black Juggernaut. Thanks for checking us out. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, and Castbox. Today we're going to preview the NRL Grand Final with my bro Rex.
It's me and my man Richie chilling.
What up?
Yeah, brother.
Yeah. You looking slick today?
Always, brother. Always.
Are you a New South Wales supporter?
Yes, bro. Yes, bro.
Oh, I'm going to have to end this call.
I was debating whether or not to wear the Warriors jersey or the Blues jersey, but I thought the Blues jersey might be a bit more appropriate.
I see.
Yeah.
Were you at the game on Friday?
No, we actually sponsor the Broncos, so we had tickets to go, and for whatever reason, I didn't get a chance to get my hands on any, man. But it would have been an electric atmosphere to be at.
It was pretty good. My big son went, and it was kind of cool. We're up in the nosebleeds, and haven't sat up the top before, and it's kind of awesome being able to have that eagle eye view.
Well, being poor, I only ever get the eagle eye seats, mate. So I'm always up in the nosebleeds.
Whatever. You're probably in the corporate box or some shit.
It looked amazing though. Like the atmosphere looked electric.
Yeah, they got a few because we went to when the Broncos played the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Probably the last game that the Broncos won, I think.
Yeah.
But, and at that game there was probably only about 1,500 or 2,500. It was fuck all anyway.
We're like spaced out and everything as well.
Yeah. It was the whole bubble thing and.
But so what? No COVID restrictions on the game at the weekend, or
no, nothing. There
was a ticketing problem, eh?
Yeah. So we got there late too, and they had just opened the gates by then.
Yeah.
And just said, "Come on in." Roll up with my phone.
I should have just
ushering us through because the game had already started, and half the crowd was still trying to get into the
sitting
stadium.
outside. Yeah. Because I remember the commentators were saying, half the crowd's still sitting out the front and waiting to get in. Like, what a disaster! This is ridiculous.
It was another game, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Storm came out swinging.
Yeah, well, it was a bit tough for anybody to run down the Storm. They scored like 3 tries in 10 minutes or something.
18-0 real quick.
Yeah. So Raiders haven't really been that good in coming back any game, let alone a prelim final. Yeah,
and they're not really the team that runs down a lot of teams like with a attacking force. They're not the Rabbitohs. It's just they grind teams out. Giving a team like the Storm a head start of 18 points is just not a good idea.
No, not at all.
What about the other game? Did you watch the Rabbitohs against the Panthers?
Yeah. I'm going to admit I was pretty minced by the time that game had started, bud. But we actually came home later on because we were out at the Dreamworld Halloween thing that they had going on there.
Oh, okay.
So I was actually trying to watch like no social media, like nothing until we got home to be able to watch it. So we watched it a bit later. But it was. But it looked as though it was going to be a really high-scoring game.
It did.
It had that sort of field, like a couple of the teams had like opportunities to score. I think Luai broke the line and grubbered through. I think Mansour had an opportunity as well, and Toto dropped the ball from that big rainbow pass from Nathan Cleary, but
they were blaming that pass on Cleary. I thought the pass was exactly in the perfect place. The winger just wasn't there.
Wasn't in the position. Yeah.
It wasn't Cleary's fault that he's hit that pass 50 times this season.
Yeah. And that Reynolds kick over to Johnson for the try was magic. It just looked as though it was going to be one of those types of games where it was just points on points and the defense was going to be put aside. It did. And but yeah, it was. I'm glad the Panthers won
Me too.
because they've worked. Like I was always this year, I always thought that they're going to come down at some point. Can't win 13 straight and then continue that roll into the finals. Like, they had that talk where, they've only faced bottom 8 teams and they played the Broncos twice and all that sort of shit.
Easy money.
Yeah. And so, they win 13 straight and play all these shit teams, but then they come against someone good and, they fault. But, yeah, no, they're the real deal, bro. I think
And what do you put that down to?
Like I've watched all the, the 360s and, watching all the programs and like reading all the papers and all that sort of stuff. And it just genuinely looked as though they are having fun, man.
That's
They're going out there, they're having a blast. I think I saw something the other day that they all, Panthers have got all their juniors coming up through the lower grade. They've all played together. So now they're coming up and it's just another game for them.
Yeah.
They're happy to make those rainbow passes. They're happy to hit it up. They know that each other's going to be there. Luai and Cleary, like just feed off each other. They know where each other is at. And, it's good to see that unstructured, non-block play. Play what you see, lead, bro, and it's attractive to watch. And I hope they go all the way.
Me too. Like, so I started watching League in 1991 when they won it, and
oh wow,
and yeah. So they were my first favorite team. Obviously, they fell away after that, and kind of like I went on to like Manly and Canterbury Bankstown before the Warriors' inception.
Yeah.
But I do recall sort of Greg Alexander. He was my first favorite player, and all that shit like Gaia. Scrappiness.
That was a mean team too, eh?
It was a killer team. The thing with Penrith too is because they're quite isolated, they have to their junior grades have to be the massive feeder for their club. Like they don't go shopping at other clubs.
Nah.
They don't have feeder clubs in Sydney. They just they promote their own and they build teams. So I'm glad.
That's what. Sorry, you go.
I'm just saying. I'm glad to see a team like this. Like Canberra is another one of those teams too. Like they go shopping a little bit, but they sort of have their own players and they bring them through the lower grades. Yeah.
That's what Gus Gould is really good at.
Who's that?
Gus Gould. I'm not a big fan of his, but he's always good at developing the juniors and creating those programs. So that's why it's good that he's coming over to the Warriors. So it'd be interesting to see how.
Really?
Yeah, man. So they've signed him up as like a junior recruitment kind of person to come through, and when we were going well, when did we make the grand final? The Warriors. I say we. I mean the Warriors.
Yeah, I do that all the time too. I mean the All Blacks. Or when I say I'm talking about the people that I support.
Yeah, like when they were coming through, like we had 3 teams in the grand final. Like we had the team in the New South Wales Cup.
Yes.
The under 20s and then the NRL. So like, we had those grassroots coming through, but it never, like we never grew our own men. Like they were always getting pinched from other clubs, and people were always stealing our talent and taking them
honestly, man, it's the biggest fucking problem with the Warriors. Like obviously they can't keep their talent, but when they choose one sort of player over another, like the Chance Nickel-Clockstad was a prime example.
Yeah.
They could have found a way to fit him under the salary cap. They just didn't think they needed him because Roger was the pinnacle. And then, you're not going to have another Roger even if they were going to try and mold Nickel-Clockstad into a winger. Yeah. They did exactly the same thing with Nigel Wagner. Like he grew another leg when he went to the Bulldogs, and he was, kind of a middle of the road centre when he was at the Warriors. They just didn't develop him quite well enough, and then they didn't do enough to keep him. It's happened with plenty of people.
Yeah, and it's like, I hate to say it, but it's good for those players to come over to Australia, come into a system where, they're training properly, working hard and like, being around people that are, wanting to succeed.
Professional.
And like, even when Sean Johnson left, I thought, fuck, here we go. Like, we're fucked. You know what I mean? Like, we aren't going to get anywhere without this dude.
Yeah.
But then the juniors come through, like, I forgot off the top of my head. Harris DeVita.
Oh, yeah.
Outstanding player. Still has a lot to learn, but his defense is on point where SJ's probably wasn't. Still has that ball playing. His goal kicking is insane. So, should be good.
He has all the talent. I'd like to see him have a few more people to lean on for
like guidance.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
we got Stacey Jones there.
Yeah, Stacey Jones there, and I like that Stacey Jones is still running the water.
Yeah.
But when you were talking about running teams these days, I think the game is a little different to when Stacey Jones was playing, and he wasn't the most sort of
critic or
just the type of player where you'd want your player to mold their game off him. So Stacey Jones is kind of a 1 in a million kind of guy, and he has to play because of his stature. He had to play a certain way. Not a lot of guys have to play that way, and Harris DeVita is not one of them because he's got a lot more physical talent.
Yeah.
So he can use those tools in other areas, but he has to know how to use them.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them bring in someone like I can't even think of who it would be, but
like last year they had was it last year or the year before? When did SJ leave?
Year before last.
Year before last.
Last year was his first year at the Sharks, and he was injured most of it.
That's right. So the year before last, what was it? So they brought over Alex Corvo, who was the strength and conditioning coach. And you could see, like, I think their very first game was over at Perth Stadium, Optus Stadium, the new stadium that they built over there for the AFL team over there.
Mm-hmm.
And they beat the Bunnies that game. And
round one, that's right.
Yeah, round one, there was a double hitter. I think the Eels Dragons was after that or something like that. But that game, like this, Alex Corvo had him for one preseason, and you could tell immediately that their whole demeanour had changed, man.
It whipped them into
fitter. Yeah, they were fitter, they were stronger, and I was like, here we go, this is it. And we all know it overnight.
Fizzle.
Yeah.
Story of a Warriors fan's life. Jeez.
Yeah, Panthers. I really hope that that they do it. I think that the Storm with Cameron Smith retiring this year, it's like it's set up for like one song, his final hurrah. He's leaving on as a champion.
Yeah.
So I just think, look, if he wins, then yes. So I hope they win so that he goes. because I've had enough of him, man. Like he's just he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. But it's time for someone else to stand up, man. Like they've got Harry Grant there. They've got the cheese. They've got the big cheese there. They've got the players ready to come through, and old man Smith's just sitting in the way, blocking everybody. So I fucking hate the Storm. Just because they're so good and they win all the time, and they're just
kind of like the Crusaders.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I reckon it would be the Storm. Cameron steal it with a goal kick from the sideline. That'll be a 2-point win or something, and they'll win it.
What do you think of Cleary? Like, is he the best player in the game? does he deserve all the accolades he's getting?
You see the Jack Whiten won the Dally M last night.
I did. I was quietly hoping that Jack Whiten would win it. Like, so my son plays lock, but he's a little undersized for the especially now that he's coming into under 15s next year.
With your shoulders?
What's that? Nah.
With your shoulders?
No way. So yeah, he's a little more lean, but he's one of those sort of like a built-in the Cameron Murray sort of style, ball playing and that kind of style lock. But going forward, we've discussed it, and I'd like to see him probably play 6. And so when we watch league together, we watch it from that standpoint, like, oh, what sort of game do you want to insert yourself here for? And when you're molding a player, the game of Jack Whiten is really, really full. Like, I like his running game, and he's really abrasive. So like when we talk about it, I say, do you see how Jack Whiten does this? Or do you see how, he pushes the line there and then he looks out the back or whatever? Just, I'd like to see, I like Jack Whiten's game, just the fullness of it. And because he's that sort of hard-nosed, a little bit in the Laurie Daly kind of sense, not afraid to run to the line, not afraid to tackle big guys. And I just like him, eh? He's gritty. He's a gritty number 6.
Full, I like it. That's a good way to describe him, actually. The full package.
Like, I'm not saying Cleary doesn't have a full game too. He's got all the tricks.
Yeah.
In terms of a number 6, I'm not too aggrieved that Jack Whiten did win it.
No, not at all. I just think,
who else was right up there besides Cleary?
I think this was 4th or something.
Who was it? Smith?
No, Cameron Smith. Yeah. So I think it was Whiten, Cleary. I don't remember now. Yeah, I think it was a shock more than anything, because as good as Whiten was going, I thought like Teddy should have been up there.
Who's that?
Tedesco.
Oh, he didn't even make the team.
And like, he's absolutely insane, man. Like that dude is.
I could not believe that Gutherson got fullback of the year. Like.
You know what I mean? Like,
he's a fucking muppet.
Well, you don't like the king, mate?
I don't. He's not. He's not my king.
No.
Fuck no.
Man, I like his. He's not. Well.
He's always fixing his hair. Shit, man.
I just like the fact that he's not the mold of a regular league player, like Kerry, for example. Kerry, to me, just doesn't seem like a footballer. He just looks like an odd person. It doesn't look like a footballer.
Yeah.
But he's just got talent out the arsehole, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And same with Gutho, man. Like, I know you don't like him, but like, he just pops up. He pops up where he needs to be. He had that 10-minute stint in the Eels game where he's just everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And so he's just got that knack of being in the right place at the right time and hooking people up. But Teddy should have been right up there for me. Teddy, Whiten, Cleary. Yeah, back to Cleary. I think he's the man.
Yeah,
he's the man.
I think he's going to be the man for a fair while too. Like, did old man get coach of the year? Yeah.
Thought they were going to do the Dally M and then coach of the year, father son, but it didn't work out that way, did it? Cleary's got the kicking game, though. He's got he's got the nous. I think the thing that I like about him is that he, if something's not going well, so if they've got a game plan of, we'll do this and we'll do that, and it's not working, he can change on the fly and go, okay, well, let's go and do this. Let's kick now. So he's not waiting till half time to change the game plan. And going in and get the coach coming in and going, what we needed. Like he's
Yeah. You can see him on the field. He's constantly computing.
Yeah.
Like, he's a real student of the game, exactly like his father. Like,
yeah,
his father was a student of the game. He just didn't have the physical talent to carry off everything. He wasn't that fast. He didn't have a step, but he could read the game really, really well from the back. And Nathan Cleary has all those things, just a whole lot more
as well as
talent.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, he's like his D has improved immensely as well. Like I remember a couple of years ago, just turnstile man. So I think that's something that he's really worked on, and you can see now that they're probably aiming more attack at Luai, and even Luai can tackle. So like
He's a good defender.
Yeah, so like they can't get through either of the halves. So then where do you go?
Funny thing with Luai, like so when we came back from the COVID break, Luai's position in the team was not guaranteed at all. And Matt Burton, pre-COVID and then just after COVID, he was making big strides to come in as the number 6. He's a good player.
Yeah.
And then Luai just stepped his game up, and never heard of Matt Burton again. Like, he can come in and be a utility, but that number 6 jersey is Luai's now, which is funny. Good to see.
It's funny because they actually said when Luai came back, so was Luai injured after COVID or something, or did they just drop him, or?
I think they were kind of sharing the position. They weren't sure on either of them, so they just kind of gave them a bit of a half and half. And Cleary was injured for a bit there, so they were 6 and 7 together for a while.
Right, and that might have been what it was. So they always, I think that's what it was. So they always knew that obviously Cleary would slot back in. So it was who of Matt Burton and Luai would get it. And I remember one of the commentators saying, Burton for sure.
Yeah,
because Luai was doing Luai and sort of just hanging about, not hanging about, but doing his thing and just demanding the ball when he needed it. But Burton was taking over everything, so he was the Cleary basically. But you don't want 2 Clearys in a team.
You can only have.
You've got to have one cool, calm head, and then you have like a motor that comes in and chimes in when they need to. So. The Burton sort of lucked out on that one, I think.
He did. Like, it's no disrespect to him because he's a hell of a player and he's got a big future in the game. He was a little unlucky in that sense, where at the time, which was only 10 weeks ago or whatever, they didn't quite require his particular skill set, which is a shame.
And because I thought that I heard whispers that he was going to the Bulldogs.
I wouldn't want to go to the Bulldogs. Like,
no?
Who goes to the Bulldogs? Like, why would you leave a minor premiership team to go to the fucking cellar dwellers? And they have for a number of years.
Do you want to win a premiership ring by sitting on reserves?
Fine. Yeah. But are you ever going to win one at the Bulldogs?
Oh, yeah. But at least you'll get more exposure and more game time because you know that he's got the talent to be able to do something. So at least if he has a year or two at someone like the Bulldogs, other people are going to vie for his John Hancock, and he'll get increase his value. And whereas now at Penrith being behind, your Clearys and your Luais, like he doesn't really have a chance to get any game time. So
the thing with that too is if he goes to the Bulldogs, the shelf life on Kieran Foran is short at best.
Yeah.
But then at least you get the value of his knowledge because he's been in the game a while and he has a lot to offer. He's so injury prone that you don't know how long he's going to be there. No, so I'm sure the Bulldogs would be probably trying to shop him out.
Yeah.
After he brings in a replacement.
Well, they're starting to because they've got the money now to spend, the Bulldogs. So
who'd they get rid of?
I think they signed because the Warriors were trying to get him, and the Bulldogs got him instead. I can't.
Big name for that.
The name escapes me. Oh, yeah, it's gonna annoy me now.
Oh,
Yeah, they've now got the cash there to be able to do some big signings. I think they went for the Trebojevic brothers, and I think they were unsuccessful in getting them.
they're never going to get them. I don't think they'll ever leave Manly.
But then imagine that. So they pull Tommy and Jake Trebojevic. Everyone's going to want to go to the Bulldogs.
It'll be a bit of a Titans, the same scenario with the Titans. As soon as they got a couple of big signatures on the dotted line, all of a sudden it wasn't such a dire situation to go to the Titans.
Right, I'll go to the Titans.
Are you a Titans fan?
Well, they're my second team because we live on the coast.
Yeah. I figured as much, but
And instead of taking the boys to like 2 Warriors games throughout the year, I'd rather take them to 8 or 9 Titans games. So yeah, we get behind the local, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of the first one with the Broncos. Like I'm not a Broncos fan. My son's not a Broncos fan, and when if they're going to play the Warriors, then yeah, but can't really. The only reason we went to that Bulldogs Broncos game was kind of just like the whole COVID thing had sort of boiled over, and we're like, fuck, let's just get back out there, let's go to something, we'll go to a Broncos game, and it was shit, and they were shit, and they won, but they were still shit.
Yeah. They're horrible, man. What do you reckon's to go there?
I don't know why. They got all the talent.
At the start of the year, they won the first 2.
Yeah, first 2. Went into the break 2-0.
Yeah.
And then just died horribly in the ass. I just, all the talent, and you can't put it all on a Payne Haas, or you can't put it all on a Katoni Staggs, but for some reason they just didn't gel, and they couldn't win close games. That was the big thing. Like losing games in the last 20 minutes. Like sometimes they would be in the game right to the end, and in 20 minutes they get 3 quick tries scored on them, and it blows the score out and makes them look terrible. And it probably quite demoralising for their forward pack. And then after a while, after a few games of that, and then when they started turning on each other, that's when the media started getting into that, and it was quite ugly to watch.
Well, like you said, you can't put all the pressure on like all the young bloods, like Katoni Staggs. What a talent! What an absolute fucking gun that dude is, man. He is just a weapon.
Yeah.
And you've got Haas. Like there's only so many tackle breaks and hit ups that Payne Haas can do. Like he's got an engine. He's no minute player.
100%.
He just can't shoulder the whole team. Carrigan had an outstanding game, and
the back end of the season, I don't know if you play fantasy, but his numbers in fantasy were insane. He was outscoring Haas for probably their last 5 games.
Well, I sold Haas at the end there to free up some cash. Yeah, to free up some cash for other players, but I was confident that Carrigan would be able to make those types of scores for like $200K less.
And he did. Yeah. Yeah, had I had a few, I had a pretty good team, but it was a little bit injury ravaged by the end, and I gave up on it.
Yeah, okay.
Had I had a couple of trades, I definitely would have got rid of Haas and probably bought in Papali if the money was right, because I already had Carrigan.
Yeah.
But my injuries and lack of trades just dictated the hell out of it. So I kind of
the beginning of my season was absolutely outstanding. I was a Broncos man. I was absolutely killing in the first couple of rounds, and then COVID struck. And because you play fantasy, not Supercoach.
Yeah, not Supercoach. Play fantasy NRL.
In Supercoach, they had once they resumed, they gave everybody 5 trades to basically start their team anew.
Oh.
And I was like,
that would have been cool.
Well, for me, like it pissed me off because I got myself in such a good position and people were like way back there, and it gave everybody the chance to catch up. And then I think when Tamalolo went down at the
Oh,
beginning of the year, I sold him and then he came straight back. And I was struggling all year to try and get him back because there was other injuries and all this sort of stuff.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Did you have Stags?
I ended with Stags. Yeah, I just had too many other issues, many other problems in my team. And one of
I,
the best buy I had this year was Cameron McInnes.
me too.
Yeah.
And in my league, I was the only person who had him. So everybody else had Cameron Smith or Damien Cook.
Yep.
And then everybody had Harry Grant because he
Yep.
was so cheap.
Yep.
So, but I had McInnes and Grant, and I had a third hooker because you in fantasy NRL now you have a reserve bench and you can pack them with whatever the fuck you like. So I at one point I had 4 hookers.
Yeah, right.
But that worked way against me in the end because I ended up with no centers, and I was having makeshift centers like bloody. I had Stags for a while, and then I downgraded so that I could upgrade somewhere else, and it was a bad idea, and I knew it at the time. I needed to shuffle things around, and it just didn't work. Pissed the hell out of me.
Yeah, they like BMOS playing every second game. He was unreliable.
I never picked wingers.
I've never had Nofaluma in my team
Oh yeah,
the last 3-4 years. So I finally managed to get him in, and I was pretty stoked with that. It was a pretty good buy. I started with Pappenhausen, and he was going mud.
Yeah, shithouse.
Scoring 20s and shit. And I was like, motherfucker, like I should have listened to everybody and went with the Teddy Turbo combo. But he came good, and then ended up selling him to Ken Gutho.
What's his fantasy value like? If he's not scoring tries, no Gutho.
Oh yeah, when Moses was injured, and he was stepping up in those in that sort of capacity, his scores were outstanding.
Yeah,
I think there was a couple of tons in there, and he went really well. But yeah, as soon as Mitchell Moses come back and took over all the picking, and his fantasy value.
Did you have Cody Walker?
No, that was one regret.
5'8".
I had Munster. The week I brought in Munster, he got injured and scored like 19. So sold him out, and then he came back in. So I was struggling to get him back in as well. So it was a
fucking shambles.
A bigger, better, stronger next year.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you're at the end of the season, that's when you start planning for the next season, and then by then, everyone's started to recruit. Like I'm always looking at the trade windows and shit like that. Like who's going where. I am a massive I'm always down on who the Warriors are recruiting ever since they recruited fucking Adam Blair.
Penalty Blair.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. I've been saying this for years. Like, why the fuck would you bring that guy here as a marquee signing? The guy is a liability.
Yeah.
A penalty. I didn't get it.
Penalty every time he touches the ball, man. Like, he was good at the Storm. Didn't really have much of because he went to the Tigers after.
Went to the Tigers, and then he went to the Broncos.
That's right.
Bit of a club slut.
Yeah, but it just, I've never really rated him as a player anyway.
No.
He sort of reminds me of Wairere Hargraves, just a loose cannon sometimes. I think Wairere Hargraves is sort of calmed down a little bit by growing up.
Oh, probably Trent Robinson shoving something up his ass.
It's like, hey,
stop that, bro.
Yeah.
This is a professional day.
Yeah. But that just two live wires and hotheads, and when you're in the battle, in the trenches, and someone just said something the wrong way, you're giving your team a penalty, and all of a sudden you're in your own 20.
It's a piggyback.
In the line.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. Yeah. So who do you reckon for the GF, mate?
I will be going for the Panthers.
Yeah.
I do think that the Storm have a lot. No, they got a fair bit of momentum from the last win, and then the one before that, which was 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
Like they've been building nicely to this grand final. So I think the Storm probably has the inside track, even though the Panthers haven't lost in forever. But that doesn't actually mean much. 80 minutes and both teams start on 0. So
Yeah.
I'm going for the Panthers, and I like the look of the way they play. Like it's just like you say, they're not afraid to change tack if it's not going completely their way. And during those 14, 15 games now, they've been in a few tight squeezes. Like they haven't had it all their own way.
Yeah.
So there's a fair bit of character in that team. Storm have had a couple of hidings, and I'd like to see them get rolled.
There's 2 teams that I love watching lose: the Storm and the Broncos. And so, like, the Broncos losing like pretty much every game this year has been exciting.
One of those.
Yeah, but the Storm, I don't know what it is about them, man. Just because they're so successful, like you mentioned before, the Crusaders, they just win all the time, and so you just hate them, just because they're so good.
Yeah.
But that's a good reason to hate them. It's because they're good.
Good for them. Bellamy, like, you hate Bellamy?
Oh, he
entertains me.
He's very entertaining. But so him and Stick, they've got a bit of history together.
Yeah, fair bit of history.
And like he Rick wears his heart on his sleeve as well, so he's always sitting out in the field with the guys, throwing water bottles out windows and shit like that.
He's fucking hilarious.
He throws chairs. He's just as passionate as what Bellamy is.
Yeah,
I think 2 passionate blokes going together just make for a wonderful.
He was the same when he was playing. He just now he doesn't have as much effect on the field because you can't get out there. But I remember him when it was him and Daly for the Raiders. He was always wearing his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think I listened to the Matty Johns podcast this morning, and they were talking about when Joey and Matt played sick.
Okay.
And like he goes just the mouth on the guy, man. Like he would just talk to them like constantly and like, I've got this guy, I've got him. Fuck you, like pointing at him and going hard out at them.
Yeah,
and then at the game shaking their hand and patting them on the back and saying good game. Like he's just that kind of dude.
I'm pretty sure Joey would have been pretty close to that too. He's a bit of a mouthy little shit.
It's too high on the pingers, bro.
Half his career, he was.
Yeah. Which I mean,
but he was an incredible player.
I almost said just watching it, maybe everyone should be on the pingers, bro.
No comment.
Yeah, it should be a really good match. The Storm are the top of team that can grind but can score heaps of points at the same time. I think Panthers sort of ground their game out a little bit at the end of their game as well. So of play. Yeah, if I can
shaping up to be a good one.
Can't wait. Yeah, I'd like to also point out that I got try scorer as well on Jesse Bromwich on the Storm game.
Stop it.
He was paying 71 to 1.
Fucking hell. What'd you
71.
have?
Oh, just $1. Yeah, just because I was sitting there with me and my missus sitting there, and I looked at it and I was like Cameron Smith and Jesse Bromwich were $71, and I was like, $1 on that, why not?
Yeah.
Like they've got just as much chance as everybody else to go over first.
Especially with the Storm, they like to run their props close to the line.
Yeah.
So that brings both Cameron and either
Kafusi as well runs that line on the other side. On
the edge, yeah.
So
what happened to him?
Kafusi.
Yeah.
He was a gun like 2 years ago. He sort of just. I think he's just sort of been lost in the Storm system. You know, they always say, "Oh, you know, we're there to do a job, and we do our job." You know, he's sort of fallen into that mold, like he just done his job to oblivion. You know, where you just don't notice him anymore.
Yeah, he turned into Ryan Hoffman.
Ryan Hoffman's still there, bro.
Nobody notices him though because he's running the water.
Yeah. Looking too flash in those khaki pants and purple fucking polos. Fuck, I hate them.
Fucking polos.
Fuck, I hate them. Oh,
You know, do you remember sort of not long after COVID, they were making sounds like the grand final might be here when Sydney was still bad.
yeah.
I was quite intrigued about that. I've never been to a grand final, and if it was here, I was definitely going to be there. But,
Well, yeah.
Had it been there, like, you know, a bit of a what if scenario, the Storm would probably have a fucking way better chance, you know, to send all of their players off, and, you know, Cameron, the king of Suncorp.
Yeah.
Logan Brothers, was he? I think.
Yeah, I think he went to Marsden High.
Now.
Yeah, so they run actually a really good footy program.
There's a few around.
Yeah, so Marsden's one of the up and coming schools. You know, you've got your Keebra Park and Palm Beach Currumbin and all that. You've got Wynnum up in Brisbane and all that. Yeah, Marsden's up and coming, bro.
In Wavell Heights.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, but they've got they just opened up a Cam Smith stand there. At Nelson.
Cam Smith stand.
Cam Smith stand. But yeah, it would be intriguing to have the grand final up here. I mean, so it's at ANZ?
It is, yeah.
And what that holds, 80? 90?
I think in the high 90s, I think. It might be 95 plus.
So, yeah, I think Suncorp only holds 50.
Yeah, it's well behind, but...
Yeah, but like, you're only allowed a certain amount of people as well. Yeah.
They would be allowed 90 in there.
Yeah, so it'd only be like, what, 30, 40, something like that?
Yeah, maybe 50, but...
Might be the percentage of the ground capacity, maybe?
And the space, you know, all spatial awareness and all that crap.
Yeah.
But, yeah, not to be.
Would you have gone if, like, okay, so, like, I'm not a Storm fan, so I probably would have paid money to go and see Bunnies, Panthers,
Roosters,
or Raiders.
Wow. Okay.
You know, like I would have paid to have gone to see those grand finals, but because the Storm's in it, I probably wouldn't have.
Okay. I'd pay to go and see the Roosters, definitely.
Yeah.
And
what do you reckon happened to the Roosters?
Like a bit of a. So all the talent in the world, and they're paid through the nose for them. So this is the thing, like when you're going to build a team around big signings like a Tedesco and whoever else they've brought in.
Well, they brought the old man Morris twins.
Yeah, and they delivered.
They did
for some reason, like especially BMOS, like both of them really.
Yeah.
But they fit into the system really, really well. I thought that Ryan Hall was going to get a bit more, but he's fucking injury plagued. Problem with his is
like he's
can't get across the stripe.
Yeah, and he's good. Like he's good in Super League.
Yeah, well, that's his style.
But Super League's not.
Yeah,
it's not. You know what I mean? Like
it's one style.
Yeah.
You know, all the teams play the same style, and some just do it better than others.
Yeah.
And that style is conducive to his game.
Yeah.
And you know, you
look
at it like Daniel Tufo. Daniel Tufo wouldn't survive there.
No.
He kicks ass in fucking NRL because he's fucking shit hot in the air.
Yeah.
Ryan Hall can't fucking catch a cold. But.
Yeah, I don't really rate him either. Not a fan. But yeah,
who do you like coming through?
Ooh, well, I mean, Paps is pretty sexy, man. Like
100%, yeah.
He
love watching him run.
Yeah, man, and just like even end of last year, like he just has that natural speed. You can't
As it
teach that.
fades.
Yeah, you can't teach it. Like
Nah.
it's there, and it's more about teaching him where to be able to use his speed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was a try there where this year I think he attacked the ball from like his own goal line,
I remember
came
that.
through and just grabbed it and ran like 100 meters and scored the try, man. Like, just great instincts. I know the Storm were worried when they lost Slater, and who's gonna fit in here, and they put in Jerome Hughes for a little bit, and like Jerome Hughes is a great player, but just not a fullback.
No.
So then Paps come along and just absolutely blitzed everybody. Mate.
Yeah. He's a blitzkrieg, that boy.
Yeah. Old Georgie Williams from the Raiders.
Grew.
Yeah.
That's what they call him. Nobody knows.
He had a pretty good breakout season.
Very good.
Like Campbell Graham from the Bunnies. He probably best improver for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
right.
I think he came in last year, didn't really do a great deal.
Sitting on the wing for some of it too.
Yeah, and then just this year has just improved leaps and bounds, man.
He benefited quite a lot from the James Roberts scenario.
Correct. Yeah.
And then
that's when you need to benefit. That's when you need to improve. That's when you need to step up, is when you're given that shot. Yeah.
Especially if they paid a lot of money for a superstar and he didn't deliver. So when Campbell Graham gets his chance, he's like, well, he's pretty much got a free shot at it, and he took it with both hands.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So it was a pretty good improver for me. And just all of it, man, like dudes we've never heard of, Stephen Crichton, Toto, Toto, what a beast.
Fuck
It is an absolute work. Oh man, him and Stags. I'd like to see a run it straight challenge between those two, bro.
I love how Stags runs the ball. Like he's 100% all the time.
Yeah.
No regard for his body, and he's deceptively strong, but he's also deceptively fast.
Yeah.
Changes direction well. Good balance. Very good balance.
Yeah.
I think he's got a big future.
I thought you were going to say Dick. That try that he scored, I think it might even be contender for try of the year, where he fended away. I can't remember who he was against. Fended away, sort of stepped in and away, and then just burned them all for speed and scored, man. Like, just that fend was insane. Like I say, just deceptively strong, quick, good balance. Toto, bro, he is insane.
I thought that they would get found out because both their wingers are quite short, especially tall. I thought that they'd bomb to those wings, and it was the Rabbitohs. The Rabbitohs had Jackson Paulo,
yeah.
Tall and good in the air too. Like he's no Daniel Tupou, but he's learning his craft, and that is a big string in his bow. I'm not sure why they always try and run that ball down Cody Walker's side, but when it wasn't working, why not bomb to the short wingers when you've got a fucking high tower out there? So,
I think actually Toto scored the first try for the Panthers from Alex Johnson going up and knocking it on.
Yeah.
And then he got it, and then bumped him off and went around and scored the try. So yeah.
Reverse there.
Yeah. But yeah, like your Harry Grant's. Grant was amazing this year.
He was incredible. Like I'd heard of him before the season started. The book on him was, this kid out of Melbourne is going to be the next Cameron Smith. And I was like, they've already got an ex-Cameron Smith. His name's Brandon Smith.
The cheese.
But then he gets moved to the Tigers, and he absolutely kills it. He could take his pick of any club, I think.
Yeah. Well,
he won't leave the Storm.
Nah, he's pretty keen to go back to the Storm, I think. Old man sticks around, then why would you?
Well, if old man sticks around, then he won't. But
yeah.
The
but just
Tigers are putting in a big offer.
yeah. Well, his just his straightening of the ball, man. Like my little man Spence, like he's pretty keen on dummy half position. So
Nice.
like earlier, showing them, okay, so look at what he done. Crafting after Damien Cook and all that.
Yeah.
His ability just to straighten the play up and then just hit the right receiver, it's just excellent. Like he runs hard, tackles hard. Like Reed Marnie,
I hate him.
his
His
defense,
the way he plays.
yeah, his defense, just these young and up and coming hookers have that great D, which is what you need, obviously, because everyone's going to be running straight for you in the middle of the ruck there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're the smallest guy there.
Yeah, well, exactly right. Yeah, no, he was pretty. He was a bit of a gun. I'm just trying to remember who stood out for me. I was pretty bummed that Victor Radley got injured fairly early in the season because he's an enforcer, man. That dude.
Yeah, love the way he tackles.
Yeah, man, just technique.
Like the thing with Victor Radley, like because a lot of my fanfare revolves around NRL fantasy in the beginning of the season. I know that Victor Radley is not really someone that you can buy and keep, and he's certainly not a keeper because it's not reflected, like his performance is not reflected in those stats, but he's worth a lot more points than what they give him.
Yeah.
Purely because, his presence on the field and his intensity, and like he plays the game like a fucking terrier. Yeah. I like it. Like I like the way he plays.
Well, he's a mongrel.
Yeah.
He's a mongrel kind of player.
Yeah.
And you need those types of mongrel players in your team. Like Brandon Smith, he's a fucking pit bull, man. Like he just
fuck yeah, I love it.
He gets tackled, and the post contact meters he makes is like Lolo like. He just gets past the lunge line every time.
Yeah, can't think of another hooker who also plays prop. like, what the fuck is that?
And
like, he doesn't look out of place.
No, I'm pretty happy he plays for New Zealand.
Yeah, for sure. He plays well for New Zealand too.
yeah, he steps up for New Zealand. I was always I didn't mind Danny Levi as our hooker.
Oh yeah.
But he's sort of fallen off a little bit as well lately. Where did he end up in Manly or something? I think.
Yeah.
From Newcastle to Manly.
Newcastle.
But I'm just trying to think of who else. Who stood out for you this year, bro?
Definitely Harry Grant.
Yeah.
And, for someone who we didn't know next to anything about, he was, even though we had the book on him was that he's the next Cameron Smith and he's learning from Cameron Smith. So, and you saw that when he won his first few games, he looked a little bit Cameron Smith-like, especially with his angles when he would go around the ruck and then just pop to in behind the ruck.
Yeah.
The prop coming in at a good angle.
Yeah.
He reads angles really, really well. Good kicking game, like he pops out. Good kicking game. He has all the tools, and you'd think, oh shit, with a few years development, this kid will be an Origin level, but he's Origin level now. He's fucking Origin level now.
Has he been named?
I'm not sure. I think after the weekend, yeah.
Yeah.
Like they've named their extended squads.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked at it, but I would expect that he is there.
So I'm assuming that comment of, are you a Blues supporter means that you're a Queensland supporter?
Oh, I am, yeah.
Right.
Like, from long before I lived here.
Ditto.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I figured, like, we don't really move to this country and then sort of chop and change and switch sides. It's not really what we do. So,
like, I don't know about you, but I've always been asked, like, how come you support the Blues if you've never lived there or you've never, played there or, and I was like, well, I've never lived in Boston, but I go for the Boston Celtics.
Oh, yeah.
I just, you don't have to live in a place to be able to support a team.
Not at all.
And I said, oh, my fondest memories of Origin was, like being in NZ.
Yeah.
The games were on at like almost midnight.
Yeah.
Like 11 o'clock, the got later and later. And the olds would have people over and they'd be having a couple of beers. I'd sneak out of bed and hide behind the couch and, watch the games. And
On a Wednesday night.
and at that time, like the Blues were dominant. They had Joey and Freddie and
I remember.
I was like, I want to follow this team. And so I always have. And even with the 8 or 9 or 10 straight that Queensland won, I always still stuck beside them, bro. And the fruits of the labour are now coming.
That's it. Like like the Queensland team, like they're not out of these games because the intensity ratchets up and they're different. They're just completely different games. But when you look at the level of talent that the Blues have at the moment, on paper, they should wipe the floor in certainly this series. But we'll see what happens. It's, like I say, both teams start on 0, and it is what it is. You can never really tell. See, I'm looking forward to that actually. Like the Origin, you're going to come up for that?
Origin being played after the season.
It is cool, eh? Weird, but
well, it just reminds me of like Richie behind you there, bro.
Yeah.
Like so, in our rugby season, you play your Super Rugby, we play your NPC to get into your Super Rugby team. Then you play in your Super Rugby team and you get chosen if you're the best to play in the All Blacks.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it should be with league. You play your NRL, and then after that, then you play your representative, and then after that, you get chosen to play for your country. Like that's how it should flow, really.
Yeah.
And that
it's all TV money and shit. Like,
yeah,
you gotta cash in.
You can then pick your players from the best who have played all throughout the year.
Absolutely.
Not just your incumbents or people that have had a good 3 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so you actually get to pick the players who've stood out for the whole year. So whether they've done that or not, I don't know. I mean,
we'll see.
Yeah.
Still into league though. Like, even with this fucked up season, the way that it's gone, like, league's come back real strong, and the players they've embraced the whole NRL bubble thing, and a couple of them fucked it up, but they got a smack on the hand and they were out for 2 weeks, or Bennett wasn't, and that did them wonders not having Bennett around, because that's when Rabbitohs went on their run. But it's been a pretty good season, all things considered.
Yeah, agreed. It's kind of like they need the short season.
Yeah.
Because 20 rounds was pretty good.
Well,
like the extra 6 rounds
was too many.
Yeah, the 6 rounds sort of, you're starting to tire. Like, I know you have Origin and people have the buys usually, and there was no Origin buys this year, so it was straight through.
I like it.
Seemed a bit much. At least the teams that are leading into your semis and your premium finals are still fresh. You're not having to rest players like the Raiders and the Storm did in the last round. Like why?
They rested their whole team, the Raiders.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so that, that worked out for them. They both sort of the Raiders almost got there, but, the Storm are there. So whatever works, I guess.
Yeah. Are you, so this is on a bit of a different note, are you watching the Khabib fight? Are you a UFC fan?
Oh, look, I watch the big fights.
Yeah.
Is
this one considered a big fight for you?
Yeah, it is. It is. Just because I know who it is. Because I know who it is, yeah. If I know the fighters, then I'm keen. No, I definitely am.
And
definitely.
What do you think of Khabib? Like, can he be beaten?
Last couple of fights I've seen, pretty hard, bro.
Yeah. Like I see what Gaethje did against Tony Ferguson, but this Khabib is a mauler. Like, there's nobody else that fights like him.
Nah, man. Nah.
I haven't seen anyone who has the skills to shut him down, especially not his sambo wrestling. Just, oh.
So you're hard out of the UFC?
Not anymore, not hard out, but like I used to be a lot more. I just, I watch the bigger fights these days, and I still have the type of mind where it clicks over. I'm an analyst, so I'm always looking at angles. I'm always looking at ways. I'm always wondering what the strategy is going to be to counteract this guy and his skill set. So I like watching it for that reason. I'm not I don't watch all the fights, and if I do watch a UFC, I might only watch the main card or the fights that I'm interested in. But that guy's skill set is certainly head and shoulders above anything that most people have seen, and I don't know who can deal with it. I thought that Ferguson is probably the closest because they had the like similar kind of skill sets, and Ferguson might have better boxing.
Yeah. Okay.
Gaethje is just a wrestler with heavy hands and heavy leg kicks, which I think that Khabib cancels him out because he's got better wrestling and he's got incredible grappling. Like, the dude's grip strength is off the chart. Once he gets a hold of you, you're fucked.
So what, you're going to put a pineapple on Khabib by either submission or points?
Could do.
Well, are we changing this to a betting show now?
Pineapple.
I'll take the $2 line.
I certainly think Khabib, if he mauls him, if he gets him down and gets on top of him, it could be a submission, or it could be just a pound him out until he gives up kind of thing. Like, a lot of the guys, he doesn't hit them with 1,000% shots, but you can't get him off you. Like, if he's going to hit you 100 times, they don't have to be that hard. And he's talking to them at the same time, going, I fucking want this more than you do, and you should just give up, whack. You should just fuck off, whack. Like, what do you do when you're like this, listening to this guy talk shit about you?
Okay.
All right, I'll just give up then.
So when's that? The Sunday?
It's on Sunday as well. Probably Sunday afternoon. Not the best card though. Like, apart from the main event, like it's certainly not worth paying the $45 or whatever the hell it is to buy it. Not that I buy them. I was
going to say, do you pay? Do you?
Nah, fuck no. Just go to the pub and
man.
Cheer for Adesanya. Yeah, Adesanya fan.
Boy. Yeah, boy.
I know plenty of New Zealanders who can't stand him. Like, bro,
really?
Come on.
I think it's just cool because we got someone representing NZ, bro. You know what I mean? Like, working.
When he fought Robert Whittaker, like, it's weird because Whittaker is quite clearly an Australian. Like, he may have a Tamoko and he may say, I was born in Middlemore, New Zealand, but he's an Aussie.
Yeah.
And he recognises himself as an Aussie.
Yeah.
Whereas, old mate was born in Nigeria. He's
and
a
still
New
represents.
Through.
Yeah, still represents. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's wicked.
Fucking comes out in a bloody.
Got the flag. Yeah.
And a korowai.
Yeah, it's wicked.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty good weekend of sport.
Man. I actually thought that the ABs played this weekend. I didn't realise they had the 2-week break.
Yeah, so they fly over and then they got to go straight into quarantine, I believe.
Of course, yeah.
And then, the day after your birthday, they play here.
Yeah. I was keen. You going to go or?
We'll try. We'll try. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see how that pans out, but the plan is yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen how much tickets are going to be. How much is that?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, we sort of had a look at a third-party website, and they had them on for $200 each.
$300. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Fuck, like.
I think my missus had a look on Buy Go, I think it's called.
Oh, don't do that.
And they were around the $300, and I was like, hey. Yeah. And they were for the shits.
And it's like, let's be honest, like, rugby is a third-tier sport here. Like, it's not their highest. They should be trying to get people through the doors to
first
them up.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have the like you say, it's third tier. It doesn't have that aura about it over here anymore. For enough for people to spend $200 on some nosebleed tickets.
You work in Brisbane City, yeah?
Port of Brisbane.
Oh, I support. Do you work with many people who are going to the AFL Grand Final, or
No, there's a couple there, but even though the Grand Final's up here, like maybe it's just the circles that I hang around, but I haven't really heard a great deal of it.
Me neither.
Yeah. I know you got your expat Victorians up here that'll go to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't really heard a great deal about it.
Kind of weird, like going to be 2 Victorian teams, and just none of their supporters that are down there can come.
Yeah. Well, like it'd be like us in France going to watch an All Blacks game. You know what I mean? Like there's plenty of expats to be able to warrant a game there, and they'll definitely fill out the stadium. That's what the AFL does. They fill the stadium. It does really interest me.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I've been here a while now, and I've watched a few games, and I get it.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy watching it, and the field's way too big for me to play it. Like, fuck it, hell.
Yeah, but I understand it enough to know that I don't like it.
It just reminds me of Scrag. Like, you play Scrag before rugby training, and it doesn't have any rules. It's just a whole lot of shit, and jersey pulling and big kicks. Yeah, it's a bit of a spectacle, but I don't enjoy watching it.
Like I can't get excited over it.
Nah.
I think when I first came over here, I came over and there was a grand final because I moved over to Melbourne when I first lived here. And so I went to the place to watch it, and I think I watched 10 minutes. And I just, the fuck is this? But I can't do it. I'm sorry. So I ended up walking out and just years and
yeah.
But I remember reading an article about it was aimed at hooliganism in soccer.
Okay.
And they attributed it to the hooliganism and the behaviour of the soccer fans, because you can have games that are 0-0 in soccer, and you build up so much excitement and anxiety, and you build up all these feelings to then not be able to release it.
You want to cheer,
and a 0-0 draw. So they go outside, they throw bins around and turn cars over and fucking riot and shit. So I think with, like, say, basketball, for instance, like, it's such a high scoring game and there's goals all the time that it sort of isn't really that exciting until maybe the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Where there's actually something on the line and someone may win or someone may not.
Yeah.
Whereas I think rugby has like the perfect balance of, there's, you probably get maybe 5, 6, 7 tries a game. When you even that out, that's probably, a try every 15 minutes or so. You build up all that excitement, and then you're able to release it because the try scored. Then you come back down again. Then you build again, and then you're able to release it. I found it an interesting article, like, especially the behaviour with in the EPL soccer games. Fans just go absolutely nuts.
Those guys are.
And there's 90 minutes. It's just I found it quite an interesting. The reason I bring that up is because with the AFL, there's just like goal, and then you run around again, and there's a goal, and then you run around here, and then there's a goal. And it just doesn't seem to be enough time to sort of build up the excitement.
Yeah. Do you know what I liken that to? Netball, like watching netball, not playing netball. I actually enjoy
playing netball. I love it. Yeah.
I love playing netball. Watching netball is like watching paint dry.
Yeah, bro.
Pass, pass, go.
Yeah.
Pass, go.
Yeah.
pass, intercept, pass, goal.
Did you watch the final on Sunday?
No.
No. I had money on it, but I didn't watch it.
Who won?
I think it was the Melbourne Vixens or something. I think they won by 4 goals. Yeah, agree. Like, yeah, that further hammers the point in. Like, there's just, goal, goal, goal.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't excite me at all.
NBA. Thoughts on LeBron?
Go.
Wow.
Yeah, he's the man, bro. He's the man.
He plays it like you can't. The whole Jordan versus LeBron thing. They played at completely different times.
Yeah.
And you can't say that Jordan played in a better era or a tougher era or anything like that. You can only play what's in front of you. He plays the guys that are in front of him. Like he didn't get to play against Patrick Ewing, but or Magic or any of that. Like he gets to play against Damian Lillard and Westbrook and Harden.
Jimmy Buckets.
Jimmy Buckets.
Fuck,
man.
It's like Chamberlain. It's like a Chamberlain Jordan comparison. You just can't do it because they're just two different.
And it's a different game. It's a different game.
Yeah. I like LeBron. He's as a person, he never gets in trouble. He's never been arrested. He's never been caught fucking poke out of a fucking prostitute's ass. He's a wholesome dude. He's got kids, wife. He's just a good dude.
His son can ball too.
Yeah, and and he's just good.
Yeah. He's kept his body in intense, like immense fucking good condition for the longevity of his career.
Yeah.
He has looked after himself extremely well. And like, the knees on a basketball player must take so much fucking pounding with all the jumping. And he's for the longevity of his career, it's quite impressive.
And he's pretty big too. Like he's
fucking big.
You know what I mean? Like his arms.
I look at Zion and I think, the guy is a talent and a half, and he's got, he could be a fucking football player. Look at the size of him, but an athletic motherfucker. But you have to wonder what the longevity of his career is going to look like. Is he going to make it to a supermax deal?
His body size? Yeah.
So
he's a big boy, eh?
He is, and he's already showing signs of sort of cracking. The professionalism, like when you're going from playing 50 games a season to playing 150 games a season or whatever it is, those are big steps up. I was watching this thing on Kobe Bryant, and he said that was a massive thing for him. Obviously, this is before he passed.
Yeah.
But so the step up in not just competition, but how many games you're expected to play. Like you're playing every other day, and then double headers as well. Whereas when you're playing in the NCAA, you're playing once a week, maybe twice a week.
Yeah.
It's a big step
up.
Yeah, big change. And so I'm not sure what the book on Zion is yet. I mean, one season isn't enough.
No.
And he didn't even play the whole season, even for what there was.
What do you reckon about the Aussie fella or Ben Simmons?
Yeah, so I do think he's a really good player, and if he got more of a jump shot, he would. If he could add that string to his game, he would, have a full complement of tools in his toolkit. The thing on him though is he a team player? Like the whole Jimmy Buckets thing is a prime example. He couldn't fit himself in, and he's not the biggest team player either.
Yeah.
Like the best part of any NBA season for me in the last few years was the Jimmy Buckets, Cat, and Wiggins. Did you see the one where Jimmy Buckets was at training he was still with the Timberwolves at this time.
Yeah.
So he had come out in the media and requested a release from the Timberwolves, and they had pretty much shut it down and said, "Nah, we've paid too much money for you. We're not going to give you a release." So he went into his shell and he just kind of pretty much said, "Fuck you." But then he went to training. This is, in their summer league.
Yeah.
Pre-season, goes to training and runs a scrimmage, full scrimmage, against their starting five minus him, and he runs it with their B team basically, and he wrecks shop on them, and he's talking shit the whole game. Yeah, and the general manager is on the sideline, and he's talking shit to him too. You fucking need me. You fucking Cat, you ain't shit. Wiggins, you ain't shit. Like, he's talking shit to they're still his teammates at that time. And like, I thought it was fucking hilarious. Like, you can't do that with a team.
Nah.
But the talent of the guy, apart from Kawhi Leonard, probably one of the best two-way players in the league.
Yeah.
But just, he's got a massive chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, he does. He does.
He wants to be the main event.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
I mean, he had his chance, and I thought he delivered in the final series. I mean, they got way further than what I thought they were going to.
I thought it was going to be a sweep.
Yeah, I wanted my Celtics to be there first, but we couldn't ice the cake. So, good on them for getting that far, man. What did it end up being, like 4-3 or
4-2?
4-2. Yeah, and then.
But the first one of those two was the 40-point triple-double. So he pretty much put the team on his back on that one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jimmy buckets.
Fuck it, yeah. I like him too. I liked him when he was in Chicago. Like, he wasn't going to win a championship there, but
D Rose.
With him and D Rose, they could have done something special. They didn't have the big man in the paint to.
Yeah.
You need a whole team.
Yeah. Well, who do you go for?
I don't actually go for anyone. I like certain players. I'm a fan of. Who am I a fan of? I'm a fan of Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
I'm also a fan of LeBron.
What do you reckon, AD? Overrated or?
No, he's not overrated. He is the goods. He just sometimes he tries to overplay his hand a little. He was a little bit like DeMarcus Cousins. So immense talent.
Yeah.
Granted, he's pretty injury prone, but sometimes just he tried to do too much. And what I liked when Cousins and AD were both at the Pelicans was that they had to let each other do a little bit of the work. Like, instead of taking the whole thing on himself, like Cousins did before AD got there, he had to share the workload. And then, even though there was a bit of injury crisis in there too, but
I find he fades out in games a bit.
Yeah, he does.
Like, he sort of just doesn't seem to be there the whole time, and like, I think like, he's 9'2", just gets like one rebound a game. Like, get in the paint, boy. Get in the paint.
Yeah, fucking work, man.
Yeah, man. Like, like he just doesn't. Like, if the situation's not suiting him, he sort of just fades out and doesn't want to roll the sleeves up and do the hard work. Apart from, I think it was like game 5 or something where he just really, really stood up. I was a bit wary of him, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't rate him too highly. Like, I've obviously got the talent. I don't know what it was about him, man. I don't know if it was the eyebrow or
the monobrow,
the single brow. Like, that boy had to play basketball because he wasn't going to get a job as a model.
Well, he's not Calvin Klein, that's for sure.
Yeah, he needed to ball or rap because he was getting no money otherwise.
Well, so if it's not him, then who's the biggest, the best big man in the league that you can think of? Like, you like Joel?
Embiid, he was standout this year.
Who was playing centre for you guys?
Horford. Where did Horford go to?
He fucked off to. He went to Philadelphia.
Philly.
Yeah.
Who was our centre?
And then he moved Tatum out to power forward. And he had like
the white boy, wasn't it?
Aaron Baines.
No, I can't even remember. Yeah, I I liked Mavs this year.
Oh yeah, especially once they acquired fucking Porzingis
Yeah, man. And
help
Doncic,
out Doncic. Yeah, like
Doncic, fucking
Luka's a hell of a player.
kid. Oh man,
How good was
where did
the
that boy come from?
wow, he was ripping shit up in Europe before. Like before he got drafted, he was already a somebody. Like it's not like he came out of NCAA ball and you didn't know what the book on him was. Like
Yeah,
he was already a pro and a proven
pro in the Swedish league.
Europe.
Europe.
Yeah, Europe, but you could tell that he was
That's like the Super League, bro.
no. But even in the Super League, there's players that you can see that their talent would cross over.
And they could fill in. Yeah, definitely.
I do like the Mavs actually.
Yeah. No, they travelled well. No one else would stand out really. I'm glad the Lakers got it.
Yeah, me too.
For the fact, they dedicated it all to Kobe, and it was pretty.
Yeah, it's good to see it kind of scripted. Like, but I must say I didn't watch much of the season after COVID came back. It was all very muted, and with the no crowds thing, it's hard to watch.
Yeah,
it's strange.
Well, like their stadiums can only fit 12,000 or something in them anyway.
But they go nuts for them.
Yeah. Well, it's in an enclosed space, and like the players just weren't putting in the effort as well. You could tell it was like a all-stars game, man. They were just fucking throwing it around and
no defense.
Nah. Like I think there was some pretty high-scoring games during that period as well. So. Yeah, I like the way that the NBA handled their bubble though, on how they got everybody to Disneyland, and everybody stayed there, and they all stayed in the one area, and so I kind of liked how they handled it all. The NFL, I don't know if you follow the NFL at all.
Nah, not at all.
But like they're having big COVID drama at the moment, man. Like they've had to postpone games, call off games altogether due to people testing positive. Yeah, because we all forget over here that like it's still right over there, man.
Oh, true.
And like the second wave's hitting Europe and stuff. So like sports era closing down as well, and so yeah, it's the NBA got on top of it straight away, isolated all their players, kept them in the same facilities, and they all played at the one. Whereas the NFL, were just all over the show, and it shows because I think one of their teams, like 5 people tested positive.
Oh, shit.
So they've had to call that game, and I don't know if you've had a COVID test yet, but you've got to self-isolate for 2 days to wait on the test results.
You had one?
Yeah. My daughter had one, 5-year-old. So stuck the bloody thing up her nose and
up the nose.
Yeah. So
pretty intrusive.
Yeah. But I had 2 days off, and when we get the results back, it was all good, and we cleared, ready to go. But I'm surprised you don't follow the gridiron, bro.
It's too slow for me. And
can you turn your head to the side? Is that a Pittsburgh Steelers hat? Or?
Nah, it's a Pirates hat.
Oh, Pirates.
It's a 1 hour game that takes 3 hours it's too much for me. And the other thing, like with rugby, I've been a rugby fan my whole life. Rugby is played on the field, and it's played in the player's mind, not in the coach's mind. I don't like the fact that the coaches run the game.
Tactical. Don't like the tactics.
Oh,
I personally
Americans love their statistics. Like they hammer statistics.
They do.
And that game is a perfect example of it. That and baseball, which I like baseball, but I was a softball player.
It's a 3-hour game. 1-hour game played in 3 hours, mate.
Pretty much. Just, made my point in the reverse.
So who you got in the World Championship for baseball?
Probably
the Astros.
Oh yeah, the Dodgers get booted. So Houston's playing Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay beat the Yankees. Yeah. No, yeah, I think I like the Houston Astros. They've got good hitting. Like I always look at hitting because I like Altuve, Correa, and George Springer. So power in the middle and at the top with Springer. Can't go wrong with that. But then the game is actually won in pitching. So Tampa probably has better pitching. Yeah, it evens itself out.
So
look at all the hitting that fucking the Yankees had.
Yeah.
Like when they bought Stanton and then they've got Stanton and Judge, it's so fucking unfair how much money they can throw at people, like ridiculous amounts, and then they just stack their whole fucking team.
Have salary caps or?
I don't think they do.
So it's like the EPL, just whoever the richest teams are, they buy all the good players. And
I mean, Stanton played for the Marlins before that, and he's from San Diego, I think. Like, obviously, he's come from shit places, and his stock price has gone up because he's won a home run derby and had most home runs last year, I believe. And then his stock price goes through the roof. Yankees jump on him. We'll give you this many millions.
Yeah, okay.
Then he comes there and goes shit.
Yeah, true. Nah, I'm not really into the baseball myself. Yeah, I'm more into the gridiron.
And who's your team?
Colts.
Indianapolis.
Who's their so for the same reason that I brought up earlier about the Blues. When I started watching, Peyton Manning was the premium quarterback at the time, and they were winning, so I just started following him and followed him through to the Broncos, where he finished his career.
Yeah.
But he just had an arm, and
Not
I got into.
Brady?
Nah.
Is he the Melbourne
He's the
Storm?
Storm. He's the Storm.
The Patriots are the Storm.
Too good. Yeah, too good. But I actually got into it by playing Madden.
Yeah, for sure. I play Madden. I'm not a big fan of NFL, but I play Madden because, like I say, I'm an analyst. So when I get to be the coach, then it's a different story.
Yeah. No, it's a very tactical game, and if I hadn't have played Madden, I definitely wouldn't have followed it at all. And just understanding, where the routes and how people need to be, where they need to be, blocking and creating gaps and all that sort of stuff. It's probably hard to watch.
If you don't understand it?
Yeah, it's probably best to... They used to have a feature in the NFL called the Red Zone. I don't think anymore, but so what the NFL do is they play all of their games on one day. So instead of ours being for broadcasting rights and playing one game after the other, and then on Saturday you have a game after a game after a game, they just play all their games in one hit.
So what happens? Do they have games going concurrently, or?
Yeah. So you've probably got 4 or 5 games going at the same time.
Well, that's stupid.
So they had a feature called Red Zone. So whenever a team was in the red zone, basically, which was in your 20-yard line, they'd cut to your game to see if there was going to be a scoring play off it.
Oh yeah.
And just come off and show highlights of other games, and so that was really, really cool. And they axed it last year or the year before. And basically, you're just having to watch the whole game again, and it sort of makes it attractive. Yeah, very slow. But with there's a whole lot of new quarterbacks coming through. So Mahomes, for instance,
I've heard of
the
him.
Chiefs, all these young bloods. Yeah, they did. Are just sort of changing the game for the better. It's got back in the days where you had Brady and Peyton Manning, like quarterbacks would just throw. They'd just throw. They had their runners to run. But these guys now, they're running, they're juking, they're passing, they're running, the whole package. They're like our Dan Carter's men, you know. They're like Barrett's, everything.
Who's the big black boy from Carolina? Cam Newton.
Cam Newton, yeah.
So a few years back, I bought a Cam Newton jersey because I watched him play a few times, and I'm like, fuck, I like the way this guy plays because he's big. He's a big quarterback.
Yeah.
And he runs. Like, quarterbacks don't run. This guy scores more touchdowns than any other quarterback.
And it throws the whole defense off because they're used to, you know, just passing plays or running plays where all of a sudden they're going for a passing play. The quarterback sees the gap and he just runs the gap. You know, like, and they're just like, oh shit, what do we do here?
That's so exactly right. No fucking coach on the field to tell you what to do.
I'm a dumbass, and this is what I do. This is
my blocking assignment. This is all I know. You know, push.
Yeah,
that's it. Oh shit!
But, I think my computer is about to die.
All good, man. I was just gonna say, fuck, it's a bit later. I better get the kids to bed.
Yeah, my bro. No, thanks for this, bro.
What's that, sorry?
Thanks for this.
No, no worries. What are you up to tomorrow? After work?
Nil. Same thing. We got my young boys tag game, but yeah.
Oh, your young guys for the game?
Yeah. What's that?
We've got a business sort of thing at our house, and I was going to see if you want to roll through.
At yours?
Yeah.
I'd have to come back down to the coast.
Yeah. But next one I'll sort of send you through and get it cracking. Get you over here so that we can have an actual, you know.
Sounds good.
Podcast style.
Sounds good. Let's do it. How'd you boys go yesterday?
Yesterday. What was yesterday?
The ABs.
It was a little rough. I told you that Brian couldn't get on for a while, and there was a few opinionated thoughts and stuff like that. Still getting cut at the moment, so see once it gets chopped up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, get me in on that, man. I want in on that.
Yeah. Sure. I said to them, I'm trying to get Rex, but he's got to work. It's only 3:30 here, guys.
Yeah, I seen your message. And I was like, fuck, don't these niggas work, bro? Like, shit.
That's because it's 6:30 where they are. Yeah. Next one we'll probably do it on a Sunday or something, or make it work for everybody.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Bro.
Thanks for coming on, brother.
Nah, sweet ass, man.
We'll see you again soon.
Catch you, bro.
Night.